cyclocross friends, and welcome back to Cyclocross Television and the second installment of the Cyclocross Heat Check Power Rankings. Before we get into the business at hand, we got ourselves a sponsor for this week, and it's Fayette Cross. 2 days of racing for all categories on the site of the UCI 2022 World Championships in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Food, beer, and great cyclocross racing for racers of all categories and spectators all weekend long, October 5th and 6th. Registration is open. Complete details, including discount hotel links, are now available at FayetteCross.com. See you there. And now back to the show. We have 1 weekend of North American UCI racing under our belts, and the algorithm is working overtime after what went down in Roanoke, Virginia at Virginia's Blue Ridge Go Cross presented by Deschutes Brewery. We're going to see some new faces in the power rankings this go-around, which means we're going to lose some racers as well. And how's that for a kick in the skin suit? You haven't even raced yet, and you're already dropping off the rankings. I've said it before, the algorithm is cruel. Cruel, but fair. We're starting our Heat Check Power Rankings with the women, and right off the bat, we're losing Crystal Anthony in the 11th spot, and Carla Williams is moving in. The Roanoke hometown hero finished 7th on Saturday at Go Cross and 4th on Sunday. 2 strong showings for the Deschutes Brewery racer has Carla Williams on the board. Coming in at number 10 is another new name. Carolyn Nolan takes over for Sammy Runnels, who drops off the rankings, but who should be back once her racing begins. Nolan raced to a 4th place finish on Saturday and stood on the Go Cross podium in Sunday with an impressive 3rd place finish. But what gives her the nod is how stinking calm she stayed when all hell broke loose around her during Sunday's race start. Dropping to number 9 and bumping Courtney McFadden off the power rankings is Kaitie Clouse. Not on the starting list for Rochester, which means the littler Kaitie on CannondaleCyclocrossWorld.com is hanging on tight to her heat check position. On a side note, she may actually be taller than Kaitie Keough and technically not the littler Kaitie. We're going to have to get them to stand back-to-back at the World Cup to get the true heat check tail of the tape. The young guns in the power rankings are attached at the hip and will be until they actually race. So that means if Clouse is dropping, so is Clara Honsinger. But unlike Clouse, Honsinger gets to bust the algorithm this weekend in Rochester. But until she does, the Team S&M CX Racer is at number 8. Here we are at number 7, and this is where things once again start to get a little dicey. With the biggest drop for someone who actually raced, Sonny Gilbert falls from 5th to 7th in the power rankings. With an emphasis on the falling part, despite a 3rd place and a 5th place finish, her low handicap meant the algorithm was expecting more, even if she was dealing with circumstances beyond her control. Nobody said the power rankings were always going to be fun for the racers. Sometimes they will just be a pain in the ass. And number 6 on the CX Heat Check Power Rankings is Ellen Noble. The CX Heat Check social media was lit up last week after revealing Noble was ranked a lowly 4th place. We can't imagine the level of indignity when the Noble faithful learn she's dropped 2 more places to 6. At me, bro. Do it. At CXHAIRS. We can take it. And angry letters? Those go to feedback at cxhairs.com. Next up, it's the top 5. And in 5th is another promising racer who doesn't deserve to fall. But the CX Heat Check Power Rankings don't make promises. Only prognostications. And until Maghalie Rochette toes the line in Rochester, she is trending downward and currently in the 5-hole. And here we are at the 4th spot, and it's the Heat Seeker, Caroline Mani, from off the charts to number 5 with a bow. The French national champion won day 2 and came in 2nd on day 1 of Go Cross. Let's see if the Pactimo Women CX Gravel Project rider can keep the momentum going in Rochester. Which brings us to the 3rd step on the power rankings podium, and it's reserved for Becca Farringer, leapfrogging Gilbert, Noble, and Rochette. Farringer rides 2 impressive performances at Go Cross to land softly in 3rd. The win on day 1 of Go Cross was impressive, but it was the recovery from the start grid crash and ability to shake it off and lay waste to the field in front of her to claw out a 2nd place on Sunday, which shot her up the CX Heat Check Power Rankings. And if you listen closely, you know we already tipped our hand for who's in the top 2 spots. No change from last week. No reason to. Kaitie Keough will race this weekend. The only question is, does she remain the same, move down, or put in such a mind-blowing performance that she's able to take over the top spot? And about that top spot, it's Kaitie Compton. Kaitie effing Compton. No elaboration necessary. And there it is, your top 11 women in the cyclocross heat check power rankings. While you peruse the list to jot down what we got wrong, let's move on to the men. The 11th spot in the CX Heat Check Power Rankings remains the outlier, the disruptor, the head scratcher, and the new owner of that spot taking over for Jamie Driscoll is Ben Frederick. If you know Ben's story, you know it's a bit of a surprise, in the best possible way, to see him not only racing again, but doing it at a high level. From a near last row start to 5th place on Saturday at Go Cross, and an 8th place finish after suffering a late race flat on Sunday, Ben Frederick is back, and he's doing it on his own terms. In at number 10 is another racer who's doing it his own way and doing it at a high level. The new man in black, Travis Livermon, fought at the front of Go Cross on both days and finished 3rd on Saturday and 4th on Sunday. Results more than good enough to stake his claim in the CX Heat Check Power Rankings. Falling from 8th to 9th on the Power Rankings and pushing Cody Kaiser off the charts is our second most favorite Canadian cyclocross racer, Michael Vandenham. MVDH has 3 goals this weekend in Rochester. 1, a top finish. 2, a higher spot in the power rankings. And 3, trying to muscle his way into our hearts as the most favorite Canadian cyclocross racer. Tough gets all around. Falling 1 spot to 8th on the power rankings is Spencer Petrov. His name isn't showing up on the Rochester start list, so this may not be the last slide we see for Spence. In the 7th spot is one of the most controversial omissions from week 1. Eric Thompson's 2018-2019 stats did not fare well when shoved into the Heat Check Power Ranking algorithm. But after spotting the entire field 30 seconds on Saturday at Go Cross and still finishing 4th, and coming back on Sunday to finish on the podium, Thompson gets the nod for week 2 with an impressive 7th place. In the 6th spot is Drew Dillman. Same spot as last week for the SDG Muscle Monster rider. Big weekend ahead for Dizzle, racing against the best and fighting for gains in the power rankings. Dillman isn't the only one staying put in the power rankings. Donnelly Avelo young gun Lance Haidet is also locked in at last week's position. He holds on to the 5 spot right below his teammate. And that teammate, Gage Hecht, coming in once again at number 4. The power ranking dream scenario is a tag team match of Haidet and Hecht taking on White and Hyde for power ranking supremacy, with everyone else streaming out of the locker room to cause the most amount of chaos. We want to break the algorithm. And that brings us to our top 3. And once again, we're looking at the same 3 as last week. Let's run them down. There's the U.S. National Champion, the Pan Am Champion, and the Pro CX Champion. The question, of course, is how do they stack up? And we can add into the mix that 2 of these racers also won races this weekend at Go Cross. So how does it all shake out? Is there a resorting at the top of the CX Heat Check Power Rankings? Let's find out. In at number 3 on the CX Heat Check Power Rankings is one of those winners from the weekend. And it is Kerry Werner. A tactical weekend of racing going head-to-head with Curtis White each day made this one a tough call. But he was 3rd last week and split with the 2nd place racer in the power rankings. So that means for now, Werner stays put at number 3.
Beep your heat check, Bill.
So that begs the question, does one win at Go Cross trump not racing to take the top spot in the CX Power Rankings? Should Curtis White overtake Stephen Hyde to be the new Heat Check Power Rankings leader? The algorithm says no. White remains in the 2 spot. Which means Stephen Hyde hangs on to the top spot in the CX Heat Check Power Rankings. 2 weeks in a row at the top for Hyde. Can he make it 3? Rochester Cyclocross will be the deciding factor, and the Heat Check will be there to see it all unfold in person. And there you have it, episode 2 of the CX Heat Check Power Rankings. Let us know your thoughts by using the hashtag CXHeatcheck. Also, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and tell your cyclocross friends to do the same. Hit us up at feedback@cxhairs.com with your questions and comments. And go to FayetteCross.com and register for the October 5th and 6th races. Go race on a future World Championship track. These guys are paying the Heat Check bills this week, so we want you to support the ones who support us. FayetteCross.com. See you there in October. Until next time, I'm Bill Scheiken for CXHAIRS and the Wide Angle Podium Network. Talk to you soon, cyclocross friends.